I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was. It was really. Oh, hey, someone hit record.
Oh boy! Oh, hi guys.
We're idiots.
Yes,
We're
we
so
are.
Stupid. No, but welcome to another episode of the podcast where we talk about what we watch on the screen. Welcome back, Mr. Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Tim.
You're welcome. We couldn't make this any more awkward.
No, we probably could actually.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, my hand could be on your thigh right now.
I mean, Tim, your hand's already been on my thigh the whole time.
Woo! All right. And we begin. So, Matt, it's the morning after Stranger Things Season 2 premiered. We've only watched the first episode so far.
Tim, I had to have a lot of self-control not to just binge the whole season before coming over.
The same kind of self-control when you turned 11 and your dick got hard for the first time?
11?
See what I did there? Like a nice little pun?
Oh, yeah, but, I mean...
I just compared the actress who plays 11 to you masturbating for the first time.
Oh, I get that, but I masturbated the first time when I was 8.
Oh.
Is that normal?
Oh, wow.
Is everything okay?
I expected us just, to mention it and move on, but we really dug deep. Do you want to talk about something?
That was a great pun on words with 11.
So you don't want to talk about it?
No, not at all. Not anymore, no.
Oh, God. Now this is just awkward. We should just edit this out completely.
Yeah, we'll cut this part out.
Yeah, this part. So, yeah, you listening to this won't even realize that this happened. But no, so we watched the first episode of Stranger Things. I dare say we both enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it. It's a great way to start off season 2 of one of the best shows on Netflix.
Be cautious with that. It is good.
I said 1.
There's a lot. So I want to come back. We'll come back to that at the end.
Okay.
But no, so I mean, overall, let's just talk about Stranger Things in general. It's going to be a shorter episode than we've done, only about 20 to 30 minutes, just because we don't want to get our hopes up too much because we have no idea what happens this season. We can absolutely do a recap later on.
Yeah.
But overall, did you rewatch the first season leading up until this one?
I did. I had forgotten that it was only 8 episodes, and so I pretty much started right at the beginning of the month. And so I've been done rewatching the first season. Only the second time. I watched it a year ago, hadn't watched it since, up until the beginning of the month. And I'd say that within the last, week and a half, I've already been done with it. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still relatively fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I rewatched this week as well. I started on Monday. It's now Saturday. I finished on Thursday. I just binged it so that way I was prepared to recognize all those little hints and things that they give us, the little nods and everything. Sam, are you coming to join us?
No.
Did you hear how we started the episode?
I don't care.
Whoa!
Our number one fan!
Yes, absolutely. She totally pays for the Patreon for our stuff. She funds this entire operation. I'm joking. We don't have a Patreon. No one funds this. It's all out of pocket. Yeah. No, I mean, I rewatched it this past week, and again, I reloved every single episode. I mean, I found myself Monday night after work when I was rewatching it. Are you cold?
No.
Oh, you're moving around.
Well, I'm just trying to wake up a little bit.
Oh. I found myself laughing within the first 5 minutes of the first episode when Dustin is saying, I almost said Duffer because they're brothers.
Yes.
When he's leaving from playing Dungeons and Dragons, he's like, dude, I think there's something wrong with your sister. I said, what do you mean? She has a stick up her butt. I don't know why. I just paused and I just started laughing. The show does a great job of bringing you back to that time of youth that we no longer have in our lives because we're adults with a responsibility. Yeah. So this show is a great transportation vehicle to our non-responsibility lives.
Yeah, the relationship amongst the kids, the friends and stuff, playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, it just reminds you of when you used to mess around with your childhood friends and stuff. They do a really good job of making that real. And
as a kid with my friends, we unfortunately never got to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I've never played up to this day. I've never played.
I haven't either. I've wanted to, and it's not because of this show. I mean, growing up, I was big into World of Warcraft and things like that, which is Dungeons and Dragons, just electronically. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to play. I wanted to set a table up right here ever since I got the basement and find people to play with. Hasn't happened. I don't foresee it happening, so I don't think I'm ever going to be fortunate enough to go out on a campaign which kind of sucks.
I'd love to do it once just to say that I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you need the game, you need the boards, you need the dice, you need the Demogorgon character models, you need stuff like that. And you need a DM, a dungeon master, which we don't have a mic in our group of people.
No.
We don't.
No, we don't.
So that's the only problem. Whenever I go to Rhode Island, there's a few people out there who play, and they play Friday nights, and they were going to include me, and I was just going to get on my laptop and Skype them, and I was going to be included in the whole thing. And then they're like, "What time do you get out of work?" I was like, 9. They're like, "Oh, we start at 6." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can't jump in 3 hours into this."
No.
So I unfortunately was not able to partake. But regardless, we're not here to talk about my misfortunes in life.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for that.
No, we don't. That would take my life. But no, I mean, we watched the first episode. I thought it meshed very well with the first season. I was very curious of how you could take a show that was very solid and everything it did, and how can you continue it. And the first scene did just that in Pittsburgh. We won't go into too much, but there is another numbered person.
Yeah,
and this person is number 8.
And with abilities too, just like 11. And just you basically mentioned this show to me about a year ago, and then I watched it, and then it seems like from there it's just blown up. And so one tough thing about a show doing really well off the bat is growing and seeing what they can do to try to top it, basically, because with shows, you want to try to do a little bit more each and every year, and so far with the first episode, I think they did an awesome job of kind of recapping all the characters, kind of seeing where they are, kind of touching base with each and every single one of them, and it'll be interesting to see how they continue it throughout the season. 9 episodes instead of 8.
Yes, we have one additional, potentially 55 minutes of Stranger Things this year, which is pretty sweet.
That's fantastic.
It is. I mean, overall, what did you like about the first season?
Just the
I know we talked about the kids and everything, but what is it that really pulled you in?
Just the kind of like the mystery behind everything. The movies and shows that I like are you don't really know what's going on, and they kind of tease and leave cliffhangers of what's gonna happen, like what happened to this person, what happened to that, what's the next thing's gonna happen. So that's one thing that kind of I gravitated towards, and basically binged it in like 2 days last year.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I watched like the first 4 episodes, and then the next day I watched the next 4, and so it's just kind of grappling, and just the way that they just kind of built it up is kind of one thing that grabbed me onto it, and the acting's really good. The kids are very talented actors.
Yeah, they are good. That seems to be. I always wonder how they get kids to act and how they can do it, but these kids seem to understand what's going on.
Especially that young. They're not even barely teenagers.
Oh, they totally are. They're totally hitting puberty right now.
Well, I mean, 11, her character, or her Millie Bobby Brown, she's actually 13. And she was 11 when this originally started.
Which is probably why they called her number 11.
Yeah, that's why it kind of worked out.
Well played, sir. Well played on that knowledge.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know about. Well, I think yes, the characters, the kids, that's obvious. You feel like they could be your friends, which is easy to be pulled into that group with everything. It's also really easy to fall in love with the other characters. Hopper, our chief of police, that character I fell in love with in the first season. It was great to watch his character arc. You see him for the first time wake up in a trailer in which he is surrounded by booze and temptation and sorrow, pretty much. And then he gets to the office and he wants no part in anything at all. And then his character turns out to be one of the most influential characters because he helps out with everything. Yeah,
and you could arguably say that his character changed the most within that first season from beginning to end. Went through the most change and the most basically change of his whole life. Yeah, maybe other than Mike.
What arc did Mike go through, though?
Well, I mean, basically being sucked into the upside down. Just the only thing is
You mean Will?
Will, I'm sorry, Will. Yes, Will Myers.
But
Boy,
did he
I
really
messed
have
that up.
a change though, or was he just
That's a change.
plot point?
I think that's a change that we haven't seen because
Okay.
he wasn't in very many of the episodes, and when he was only in for a short bit. And obviously, I don't know how this next season will play out. But I mean, going through a traumatic event like he did, I'm sure it's going to.
We're going to have a lot more of him.
Yeah.
Which is apparent from this first episode where he's getting talked to by the doctors and they're reviewing what he's feeling and everything, and the way that his brother's treating him, and they're calling him Zombie Boy. Yeah, he's going to have a big arc.
Oh yeah,
this season.
Yeah, and it's going to probably make up for not being in as many episodes in the first season, which will be kind of nice to see because it's like adding a new character, even though we know who he was.
Yeah, and just to finish off with Hopper, everything with his kid was just heart-wrenching. I found myself like holding back tears rewatching season 1. When that final episode, you really get his backstory, because there was a few episodes where he called his wife in the trailer. He's just like, hey, I'm just checking up on you. Well, his ex-wife. He's like, I'm just checking up on you. And you don't know the history yet.
Right.
They're just giving you this plot line. And you can hear another kid in the background. And he just gets really upset and he hangs up the call and he starts crying. Like, I have no idea what's going on. And then you find out the final episode of season 1 with a flashback that he lost his kid. And it devastated him. And it was great to see him go to the Upside Down world to find Will, to resuscitate Will back to life, and then take care of him. And now in season 2, he's out in the middle of the woods in the cabin, and he's taking care of Eleven, like his own daughter. The who, what, when, where, whys behind all that, we haven't got there yet, because we're responsible adults and we haven't watched all of it yet.
And we know that the very end of the last episode in season 1, that he is working with that power company, that secret agency, and so this obviously has to be related to it, and I'm sure they'll go more into depth with it, and it'll be interesting just kind of see.
It was interesting. Me and you both kind of said that when the conspirator, private investigator showed up to his office.
Yeah.
As soon as he mentioned psychedelics and mind control, he was like, you got 5 minutes in my office, get away from these other people. Basically, he had to keep damage control. Because as we mentioned, he was picked up by the government at the end of season 1, and they, I guess you could say, contracted him into something. It's going to be really interesting to see what that is. But we left season 1 with Elle gone. She fought off the Demogorgon, and she vanished.
Yeah, she said bye to the group, and
she was gone. So then we saw her in the cabin. Very interesting to see what's going on there. Just a lot of questions in which we don't know.
Yeah, and kind of like, just to see like what'll happen. It's just kind of like a question mark. Like she was gone, and then all of a sudden she's back. Why is she hidden in this cabin? Why is Hopper hiding almost her away from everybody else when he obviously knows how close the group is and stuff?
Yeah. Well, let's go away from a lot of those characters. Let's spin it off. Another character I thought who had a great arc is Steve, the boyfriend. Yes. I thought he was great. His name is Joe Keery. I don't know if did you see the thing that came out about him? And I'm really bad with names. He did a voice for BB-8. He was also in Parks and Rec. He was friends with Tommy. He's always the guy who would sing like this. Entertainment 720, his co-partner from Parks and Rec.
I honestly, I don't remember that.
God damn it. What the hell's his name? This is going to kill me. I'm looking Parks and Rec up right now. Basically, the kid that plays Steve and this other guy... What the hell is his name? Well, we're totally prepared for this. But Ben Schwartz. They kind of look the same, and they did a thing, I think, on Conan, where they brought those two together to say that they were twins as a joke, and they were like they were finishing each other's sentences and doing the same movements with the body at the same time, and they had this whole thing where they became best friends and were doing all these like outdoor activities together and stuff, and it was great.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
But yeah, his character overall, Steve's character, was great. I like his character arc. He turned from a douchebag high school guy who just wanted the girl and really became a douchebag, where he let his friend like put the word slut up on the movie theater about her and everything, and now he helped fight off one of the demons, and now he's like a genuinely good guy, which is trying to get into college and doing all this other stuff. So I thought that was another great character arc. I don't know if you have any other comments about Steve.
I only knew Steve from the Domino's commercial where he plays Ferris Bueller's character, like where he stays home and he's just like tracking the thing.
He's in a Domino's commercial?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, more. It was after Stranger Things. He like plays like the guy that's like Ferris Bueller.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I also don't have cable. I do, but I don't watch it. I do everything streaming, so that could be why I don't know about this commercial.
Yeah, that could be.
I actually had Domino's pizza last Sunday. Sunday? I think I had Domino's pizza Sunday. I haven't had Domino's in forever.
I haven't either.
I'm not the biggest fan.
Well,
However, I did call to order 2 small pizzas, and the individual at Domino's told me it's actually cheaper right now for 2 mediums. So I got 2 mediums, and they delivered $3 delivery charge. They're really not that bad.
no, not bad at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Pizza, it's tough. It's tough.
Oh, I love pizza.
I do too, but when you order, I don't know. You hear too many people say like this is the best pizza in the world.
Oh,
Like to me, pizza's pizza.
it's your personal preference.
It really is. Hey, I actually have a joke about pizza.
Give it to me.
What did ancient Romans use to cut their pizza into slices?
I'm gonna guess some sort of sword or knife or dagger.
No, Little Caesars. See what I did there?
I did.
Now you're laughing. You like it, don't you?
Yes.
You're welcome. Everyone listening, you're very, very welcome. But no, overall, we'll get back into Stranger Things. The timeline was good. I thought it was very interesting. The first episode of season 2. In the background, in the video rental from Family Video. I didn't realize that they were around back then. I had no idea.
Oh, no.
To me, it was Blockbuster and Wegmans video rentals. That's what it was for me.
Well, I mean, I wasn't around in the mid 80s, but I felt like Blockbuster was something that came out in like the 90s. I didn't know that it was.
I don't know. I don't remember when Blockbuster came out, but in this area here, it was you went to Wegmans to rent movies or you went to Blockbuster
And
growing up in the 90s.
to be honest, I highly doubt that even if Blockbuster was there, I don't think that Netflix would put Blockbuster in the background of their shows. Pretty much.
Why,
Netflix
'cause they put them out of business?
Pretty much, yeah. They destroyed.
But
the
it's crazy
company.
that Family Video is in that because we have one right down the road.
Yeah, I drove
And,
past it to get here.
I drive past it every day. It's where I actually rent all my... I don't use like Amazon or anything to rent movies. I go right to the Family Video. I thought they were new. This is how oblivious I am, apparently, to culture. I didn't know this, but it is kind of crazy just seeing them in the background and knowing that we have one 3 minutes away that's incredibly successful. They do very well. Their parking lot is always filled with people.
Especially with a business that's out of date, it's out of time. Like there's
Absolutely
no
is.
need for.
Especially with Redbox, which is all over the place.
Yeah.
Redbox, you can go rent a Blu-ray for $2. I go to this place, I have to rent a new release for almost $4, but I'd rather go to this place to get it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they have more in stock, or maybe it's the atmosphere. I'm not
people.
sure what it is.
Probably the people.
Not everyone
Like
there
you
is the
get to
greatest.
you get to have. Well, I know that you said that you've been friendly with the manager-ish. Or
I have talked to
somebody.
someone there, yeah. I want to get them on to the podcast. I think that'd be a great conversation to have.
And so I think that's probably part of it. I mean, Redbox, it's more of a you're in and you're out kind of thing.
Yeah. Because usually at a gas station or grocery store or something like that. I actually got to stop by there. The new Planet of the Apes movie is out now, and I have to rent that. The War for Planet of the Apes.
You should watch it.
I need to. I haven't seen it.
It was good.
Don't say anything. Don't you spoil this.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'll take it. But no, let's get back to... We keep going off topic.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, this is strange how we keep going off topic. No, I'm excited for the remainder of the season. I'm probably going to binge it this week. I'll probably binge more tomorrow
Yeah.
on it. We'll definitely have to meet back up on it. Overall, though, it's starting off strong. Sean Austin is doing. I'm curious what his character is going to be.
Yeah.
I kind of like the direction it's going because I feel like all the adults are bought in to the upside. I'm going to put in quotations, the upside down world, the fantasy of the world. They all didn't believe it in the first one, and then they got transitioned into it, and now there's no adults who don't believe it, other than a few of the cops. But I feel like, hey, Cat. But now I feel like his character, he said, let him pick the movies, but not any scary ones. So obviously this scary world, come on, kitty, this scary world is going to come at him and change that character. So yeah, that's interesting. So you think he's going to get killed?
Yes.
Or he's going to take the Demogorgon up to Mount Doom and hope that Frodo throws him in. That could happen too. So that could also happen. But no, just overall, I think it's a great show. I mean, I don't have much to say. Overall, this is definitely a way shorter episode. I am not prepared for it, I can tell you that.
One thing I do want to say, without giving anything away, obviously, like, with Will kind of transitioning into reality again, we're almost coming up on the 1 year anniversary. And I think it's interesting that, like, he has these visions of storm clouds. To me, that shows that a storm is brewing and it's coming.
This is the calm before the storm?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, because that one creature is huge.
Yeah, so
whatever that is, that's way bigger than the creature we felt before.
Maybe this is something like the Demogorgon's mother-ish? Possibly.
I'm not sure. Well, it's interesting to see the calm before the storm. So, I feel like we missed something this first episode that is going to replay itself in the last episode. What I mean by that, very first episode when we meet the kids, they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and the Demogorgon comes up, and Will has to make the play. He is the one that has to roll the dice, and they're saying, cast a fireball, use a protection spell. He doesn't know what to do, and by them not knowing what to do, he throws the dice, they go all over the place, they can't find anything, they never get to actually make an action. At the end of season 1, when they're in the school, Will's not there, but Elle takes his place, and the Demogorgon shows up. And in my opinion, 11 was the protection spell and the fireball. Mm-hmm. She attacked it as well as protecting the overall team. And at the end, when the thing's up against the wall, and she does whatever power she did to get rid of it, and herself, she protected them, destroyed the thing, and all over it, there's just ashes. Almost like she cast a fireball spell. So, in my opinion, it went back to the first episode of season 1. I was trying to pay very close attention here to see what is going to replay itself at the end of season 2. But I can't think of anything yet. I don't know if that means Sean Austin's going to have a role in it. Probably not. Does the Doctor have a role in it?
Or what about this new character, Mad Max?
Mad Max, is she going to have a role in it? I mean, she's getting high scores in arcade games. Like,
she fits in.
Slow your roll.
Yeah, kind of like it'll be interesting to see because I didn't catch anything that might be possibly used down the road in like the last episode or near the last. But maybe we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Or it's just so minute that you don't see it.
Yes.
And I didn't catch that with the end of season 1 until I rewatched it this past week. I was like, oh, she kind of did what they were telling Will to do. She did both. Yeah. We'll probably have more come into play with number 8. Is probably what the connection will be from Pittsburgh.
That's also true. Yeah.
So.
And the mind games that character displayed.
Yeah. So we might have some more stuff to go with that, but we're just predicting because we literally have no idea.
Yeah. It's a lot of maybes, what if, buts. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It will. So I mean, it's got a few things I thought were interesting to bring up in regards to Stranger Things. Like Chief Hopper's trailer was reportedly only cost $1 to buy for them to use as the trailer that he lived in, which that has to be a steal for any movie or show production.
That's awesome.
You ready for this really weird one? And all of these are on IMDb, so nothing that we're telling you is anything that
Tim, don't give our sources away.
No, you have to use your sources. Apparently, Winona Ryder is a late bloomer with electronic devices.
Yeah.
And when she was approached to be in this Netflix series, she had no idea what streaming was.
Yeah, she didn't really understand it, which is
Really
comical.
interesting. Very, very, very interesting. What else did we have in here? Do you have any, like... Well, I looked through this stuff. Did you have anything?
I know that Jim Hopper, his character David Harbour, is actually... there was a leaked photo of him dressed up as Hellboy. They're planning on redoing the whole Hellboy series where he is going to be Hellboy. The picture of it was really, really good. And I didn't think anyone else could play that character other than Ron Perlman did. But so far, at least, I saw, like, it had, like, 2 videos or pictures, and I know you guys can't see it at home, but if you go to IMDb and go to his page, here's actually what David Harbour looks like as Hellboy. It looks fantastic. He looks exactly like
see, I wasn't
Hellboy
into
would.
Hellboy, though.
No?
Even with Ron Perlman, I wasn't into that.
And I don't blame you because of the fact that it, in my opinion, it really wasn't great. With this character and this actor, David Harbour, I think he could potentially make it really good and actually kind of revive the whole series.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. Apparently, Finn Wolfhard, who was the first choice to play Mike, he was actually not able to first do this show because of his commitments to the movie It. So he wasn't casted for It because of Stranger Things. He was actually cast in It originally. But production delays caused the filming of that project to be pushed back a year, which allowed him to star in both Stranger Things and It, which is kind of interesting. I also noticed that the Mike character in Season 1 said these words way too much. Shut up. He yelled it a lot in Season 1. I don't know if you noticed that either.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, he says it a lot. Oh, wow. This is interesting. So Millie, who plays 11, she actually had her head shaved for the role, while her mother filmed the whole session of her getting her hair cut. Her father was so traumatized by this event, he was sobbing and he couldn't bear the watch. You can actually find this on YouTube.
I do believe I've seen that video.
I mean, they just need to man up. Natalie Portman's parents did not bear tears in V for Vendetta, so this is kind of ridiculous.
I mean, I think the fact that she's a child, like, she was 11 when this originally started, and so imagine, like, cutting your 11-year-old daughter's hair, buzz it all the way off. It could be a traumatic experience for a parent, kind of thing. Like, it makes sense. I get it. And another thing that I kind of find interesting is that the Duffer Brothers, who are the director, the creator of the show, has stated back in an interview in August that they plan on doing only 4 seasons of Stranger Things and then being out. I like that.
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5 seasons is a perfect length
5
for a season, or for shows.
American shows like to go too long. Like, think Grey's Anatomy. What are we on, season 19,000?
I don't know. I haven't seen...
It's just too much.
I haven't seen one episode. I'm not impressed.
I know that South Park has been going for, 20 years almost now? And things like that. Like, I understand that if you can create content, but in my opinion, that's another reason... Like, you look back and you think of the 90s, there used to be just, 24 episodes per season. It's just like, this is so much. Mm-hmm. And then I started watching, Black Mirror, short seasons, things like that. That idea of having under, 10 episodes or under, I think is good. Because you can really move the story along and keep me engaged and keep me guessing. Yeah. So I really like that style.
I do too.
And another homage to 80s movies, police chief Jim Hopper is actually named after the character Arnold Schwarzenegger first goes for looking in the Predator movie. Additionally, the first character killed on screen in Predator, his name was Hawkins, which is the name of the town that they're in Stranger Things, which is kind of interesting.
I've kind of noticed that they've done different 80 related kind of themes or whatever, like Nancy Wheeler, for example. I heard that her character was based off of the Nightmare on Elm Street series with Nancy, the main character. And there's a couple scenes where she's actually dressed exactly like her. And so these guys kind of take these old horror movie characters and things in the 80s and kind of incorporate them into this, which is really neat.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could just go on this list and list and list. But the last thing I want to leave it with is, I think the biggest reason I grasp onto this show so much is, yes, does it have ties to Goonies? Absolutely, a group of kids doing things.
Absolutely.
Same thing with I didn't see it until recently, but it's a group of kids that come together to save the day. I think that's a really big message overall, which is good for youth, which is, you have these kids who are brought into this world. They understand what's going on because their minds are open to it, and because of that, they're able to quote unquote save the day.
Yeah.
And most adult characters are portrayed as closed-minded. They don't believe the kids, and because they don't believe them, they usually end up getting injured or killed off in these types of films and everything. So I think the reason that I like this so much is because it brings you back into the world of belief and imagination, and you're able to see more than what we do normally day to day. It's not just about bills. It's not just about work. There's imagination. There's creativity. There's possibility, which is something I really like. It reminds me of the 90s pretty much with any Disney movie. Had these kids who would go and do things, and because of that, they were better off for it. Think of the Mighty Ducks. Think of Rookie of the Year. Think of all these things. These kids went to these situations, and the world was full of possibilities. We don't really have that anymore. When you really think, you have the Avengers, but what's so nice about that is now there's Spider-Man. This kid is brought into it, so it's believable. Like, hey, I could do this. I know you can't, but you might be able to. Think of DC. It's so dark. It's so dark and so violent. And also now we have Stranger Things, which is dark, but it's also colorful. It's these kids doing the whole thing. And I think that's what makes it so enjoyable, because as a kid, you watch Goonies. You're just like, oh, I want to be just like that. And then also when you grow up and you don't have it, and Stranger Things comes back, that pulls you back to those memories and those moments of everything that you love. And I think that's why I like Stranger Things so much. It brings me back to being a kid where anything was possible.
I think that was very well said.
Thanks.
I think that's a big. I think that's a good part of why it brings, especially older 80s kind of era kids and adults into the show, because it kind of brings us back to a time of when we were young and had imagination.
In the words of Point Break, young, dumb, and full of cum.
Quote it.
All right, well, Matt, do you have anything else that you want to leave with before we sign off?
I've just been waiting for Stranger Things to come back. It's really good. It's very well done. It's not over the top. I think the story is right straight to the point, and I'm excited to see what season 2 will bring upon us.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I'm excited for it. Well, I guess coming up with our podcast in 2 weeks, John and Neil will be back from Rhode Island, from out in Providence. They'll actually be out here in New York. We will be discussing video games and our growing up of video games, and we'll be talking about systems, games, experiences, memories, things like that, and the future of games and what that means for us. But yeah, I mean, that's what's coming up for us. If you didn't check it out last week, make sure to check out our YouTube page where me, Matt, and Kevin played through Until Dawn, in which we had 5 of 7 survivors, spoiler alert, survive in that game. So check it out. We played through the whole thing for your enjoyment. But overall, make sure you check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Screen Talkers Podcast. Catch up on all past episodes and leave us a comment. Give us feedback. Tell us if we suck. We would love to hear it so we can become better for your enjoyment. And anything else, Matt?
If there's any sort of like video games or movies or shows that you guys really enjoy that we haven't talked about, or want us to talk about, let us know in the comments and stuff, because I'm up to watch anything. I actually just got done watching Mindhunters on Netflix, and that was really good, and it's something that's completely different of what we watched before, and so we're open to any and all new things. So give us a shout out, let us know.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you wash your hands and drink lots of water.
And bundle up. It's getting cold out.
Yes, it is.
And happy Halloween. Spooky.